A Kemmer babysitter accused of killing a 5-year-old girl wants her confession removed from evidence. Golden eagles killed in Montana likely impacted Wyoming's population. And Evanston doesn't like the look of WYDOT's new 365-space parking lot along I-80. We'll take a look at these stories and more from Wyoming's largest news organization. I'm Andrew Rossi, in for Wendy Corr with Cowboy State Daily. Kemmer resident Sherry Marlar is charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of child abuse in the death of a 5-year-old girl and the alleged beating of her younger sister. She wants the Lincoln County District Court judge overseeing her case to remove the confession she gave from the evidence pool at her upcoming trial, saying she was intoxicated at the time she gave it. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland said intoxication can be valid grounds to get certain evidence removed from a trial.
There are many factors that judges look at when they're trying to determine if the confession was coerced. One of them is intoxication or impairment, and her defense attorney is arguing that Sherry Marlar had so many pain medications when she gave her confession that prosecutors should not be able to raise it at trial.
The prosecution countered that Marlar didn't show any signs of intoxication or impairment in the video footage taken during her confession. On Monday, Governor Mark Gordon's 11-member task force formed to deal with the state's interest in the BLM Rock Springs Resource Management Plan held its first meeting with BLM Wyoming State Director Andrew Archuleta in a closed-door private setting. Cowboy State Daily's Leo Wolfson spoke to Archuleta, who doesn't believe his agency and the people of Wyoming are that far apart on finding a middle ground, and that there were many misconceptions about what is and isn't included in the plan.
There was information that was erroneously included in the alternative that would close thousands of miles of roads and trails and eliminate another 10,000 of undesignated routes as well. These provisions were mistakenly left in the plan. He said there's no plan to close any roads.
The reactions from members of the task force ranged from optimism and skepticism that the BLM will listen to their feedback. 2 Montana men, Simon Paul and Travis John Branson, were indicted by a federal grand jury on December 7th based upon allegations that they killed over 3,600 birds, including golden and bald eagles, between January 2015 and March 2021. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines says the egregiously high number of birds killed in Montana probably impacted the already struggling golden eagle populations in Wyoming and nationwide.
Wyoming is a really important winter destination for eagles that come down out of the north, including some from Montana. So it's quite possible if these guys were just willy-nilly slaughtering golden eagles up in Montana, they probably killed quite a few that were at least part-time residents of Wyoming.
It's believed that the men killed the birds to sell their feathers and claws on the black market. I'll be back with more news right after this.
The weather is turning oh so frightful this time of year, but those excavation projects, they will persevere. I'm Jan Warren for One Call of Wyoming, here to remind you that no matter how big or how small your digging project is, contacting 811 2 full business days before you begin is required by state law. So stay safe unwrapping presents, not utility lines. From all of us at One Call of Wyoming, happy holidays.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted to open an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden on Wednesday, and Wyoming's Harriet Hageman was one of the 221 votes in favor of the inquiry. Hageman told Cowboy State Daily's Leo Wolfson that the inquiry is an important step for Congress to take.
And she believes every member of Congress, regardless of party, should have the intellectual curiosity to want answers to the inconsistencies that have been uncovered and the evidence that has been building. We owe it to the American people to deliver the truth.
And the Wyoming Department of Transportation is moving ahead with plans to spend more than $33 million to add hundreds of new semi-truck parking spaces off Interstate 80 near Evanston. Evanston City Council members said they weren't asked if they wanted to host the 365 new parking spots and that it'll be an eyesore for everyone driving through. Cowboy State Daily's Tracy Sullivan said there's not much the city can do about the project since WYDOT will be working on its own turf.
The state is using their state right away, so the land they're using is theirs. It doesn't have anything to do with the county or the city, so they don't have to go through any local officials to access that land.
And that's today's news. You can find the full stories on CowboyStateDaily.com. I'm Andrew Rossi, in for Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.